And a third will be victorious. Or what is referred to in the books that preceded us as Armageddon, as they have just...
So at the time of Armageddon, inshallah, it means that the Christian, Judaic and Muslim civilizations will be a wasteland. The only survivors, the handful of survivors, will be the Muslims. They will have no battlefield equipment. So this is what the situation will be, and then for Dajjal to emerge.
Victorious, a voice will come out to them that, O Muslims, the Dajjal has come in your lands.
And where's your father?
He's come out of nowhere and we don't know who he is.
The return of the son of Mary, Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And that
So, Isa alayhi salam will then descend and will kill Dajjal. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inform Isa alayhi salam.
The Muslims have gone through a colossal test as this calamity of the Dajjal has just finished. Allah Rabbul Izzah will inspire Isa alayhi salam that, O Isa, another of my creatures is about to come out, and no power on the face of this earth will withstand them and outstand them.
So no power will be able to defeat them because there will be no power. The Muslims will be a handful after the biggest, greatest world war ever, Malhama al-Kubra. The Christians will be no more. They will have become Muslims, or their continent of Europe and America elsewhere will be desolate. The Jews will be no more. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now will send the Yajuj Majuj. The question is why? Who are these people? By nature they have to be atheistic, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they will fire into the heavens, before which they will say, we have defeated the people of the earth. So now we will defeat the people of the heavens. So they have to be hardcore disbelievers. The Yajuj wa Majuj are many nations, said Ibn Kathir, and they will resist the call of Allah. They will never believe in any God in any way, shape or form. So who are they? But before which we will see about their history. My initial video upload was to do with Zulqarnain and who the Yajuj wa Majuj were, starting with the Scythians and the Mongols and Turks. This is where their history belongs, in the Far East. So who are the Yajuj wa Majuj today? There can only be people who are atheistic and who have taken on the world with the belief of atheism, living by atheism. So there can only be peoples who have taken on the teachings of Yajuj wa Majuj.
Attila the Hun. They call him the Scourge of Gods. He lays waste to everything in his path. He was a...
So, who was Attila the Hun?
One of the most pivotal...
This person, or this group of people, originated from, as you may recall from my other upload, which is a must to watch before grasping this upload. They are people of the East. This person and his group of white Huns, there are many types of Hunnic tribes at that time. At the time of, just after 300 to 400 years after Isa alayhi salam, the wall of Zulqarnain was still intact between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, built by Zulqarnain to keep out the Scythians, and basically the wall was built. Then these people from the east raided. The Mongols, the Turks, the Hunnic tribes, the Scythians in their own ways, they always attacked empires, including the Sassanid Empire at the time of Isa alayhi salam, or should I say a few hundred years after, and also the Roman Empire. They attacked the Roman Empire.
Events in human history was the fall of the Western Roman Empire. This event did not have one overarching or encompassing cause, but many. The most catastrophic and dramatic of these causes was the mass migration of Germanic peoples into the Roman Empire. They were not merely invading, taking advantage of a weakened Rome, but fleeing from an enemy they viewed as a greater threat. They were the Huns. The Romans had never encountered anyone like them before. The face of an infant male Hun was ritually scarred, cascading events that came to full fruition in the Roman Empire in the 4th and 5th centuries. Began on the other side of the world over 500 years earlier. The warring states of China had recently been united, and the construction of a great wall had begun to keep the many nomadic tribes of the north out of China. This Chinese unity motivated the many nomadic tribes and peoples of the north to do the same, and in 209 BC, the Xiongnu Confederacy was formed. During the early Chinese Han Dynasty, the Xiongnu were able to bypass the Great Wall with seemingly little effort and raid the south with impunity. The Xiongnu began to extract regular tribute from the Han Chinese in exchange for not attacking them. In addition to silk and other luxury items, the two forms of tribute most demanded by the Xiongnu were Chinese bride. After pillaging Roman territory, causing a mass migration of Germanic tribes into the Roman Empire, and sending a severed head to Constantinople as a way of saying, "Hi, want to be friends?" The Romans were more likely to fight alongside the Romans than against them. In 406,
The wall
they
of
successfully
Zulkarnain was
defended
here.
against the Gothic invasion,
These
and were
people
frequently employed as mercenaries by
must
the
have
Romans to keep troublesome German tribes
destroyed
in line. In
the wall,
434, the brothers Attila and
or
Pelagius
their
became
remnants
joint rulers of the Huns.
at the
Their
time of
uncle
the Prophet
Reuben,
Muhammad.
who preceded them as ruler of the Huns, maintained an alliance with the Romans in the west, while attacking the Romans in the east, anyways, and used the engagement. Attila continued to destroy cities as he
was born. He was clutching a blood clot, a sign from heaven that he was destined to be a great warrior. His life was to become a legend. His name, Genghis Khan. Rooted in the great speeches of the secret history. This is the story of how that tiny fist turned to iron and came to rule the largest land empire ever known.
Beijing, capital of China, the country with the largest population on Earth. Beijing is one of the world's great cities, and it was made capital of China by a great man. That man was Kublai Khan. Kublai declared himself Great Khan, the supreme ruler of the Mongol Empire, at his palace of Xanadu in 1260. But his main interest was in China, where he reigned until 1294 and founded the Yuan dynasty. This meant he also became a major figure in the history of China.
So, Kublai Khan, the descendant of Genghis Khan, built the Yuan Empire. We have the Yuan currency today. His acceptance by the Han Chinese meant they accepted him as their Mongol leader. And his first lesson was, there is no God. There is no creator. There is no religion. So he was atheistic. And the Chinese, Han Chinese, and the people of Koreas all accepted him. So all the nations in the Far East, starting from Siberia to Mongolia to China to North Korea to Vietnam, etc., all those nations that are basically atheistic are the today's Yajuj Majuj. This is my opinion. This is the emerging superpower which works with the Muslims and the Christians economically. They are taking over the world economically. So they are already economically taking over the world by their Silk Route trade, building the CPEC, for example, in Pakistan, Muslim Pakistan, and the other road networks going all the way to Europe. This is their strategic victory economically. And after the Malhama, they will have all the power in the world, including all the military equipment you can imagine. Then obviously they will end up in the Holy Land. These are the people who nobody after Isa alayhi salam, even he will not be able to defeat them because of their manpower.
The once mighty Mongols fled Tartu, and the Ming dynasty was born. The Mongols were assimilated into the new dynasty, and their star began to fade from Asia.
So there we have it. They began to mingle with the Han Chinese, so the Ming dynasty came into being. Islam never made it to those inroads in China because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept them for a special purpose.
It was an impressive display of China's growing military might, but also its growing sophistication. Much of the hardware was being put on show for the first time, including new stealth fighters.
So the Yajuj Majuj are people, the children of Japheth, through